They have 2 films in the works. Kevin and Sam Sorbo are here to share what God is doing in their faith-filled productions. But first,
my behaviors were getting worse and worse. My consequences were getting worse and worse.
A paperwork error sets him free from prison. So why did he beg the judge to take him back? All this on today's 700 Club Interactive. Well, welcome to the show. Thanksgiving is a time for tradition, and one tradition some friends in New Jersey started over a decade ago continues to this day.
Yep, a growing group of friends gather at a Wawa in Bordentown on Thanksgiving morning for what they call the Turkey Bowl.
First did it Thanksgiving morning. The staff loved it and we loved doing it. It's kind of unique to go to a Wawa that early on Thanksgiving morning. So ever since then, we just kept coming back.
So I've been coming here since 2005. It's really cool to catch up with everyone. Thanksgiving is a time to get together.
You know, I come to the Turkey Bowl at Wawa every single year. I wouldn't miss this for the world.
Wawa shared the video about the Turkey Bowl crew saying, quote, "We're thankful for our fans and their special traditions. This will be the 14th year the friends have gathered for their Wawa Thanksgiving breakfast." Have you ever tried a turkey bowl?
I've never tried a turkey bowl. How about you?
I haven't, but now I kind of want to.
You want to
I kind of want to.
You want to go to Wawa?
Let's do it.
You want to start
morning.
a new tradition?
Let's do it.
You want to bring our tables?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Bring our dogs. Are you going to wear the turkey hat?
No. I'll leave that to you.
Okay, I'll wear the turkey hat. Well, finding a job can sometimes be discouraging, and a young man from Rhode Island knows that firsthand. 23-year-old Michael Coyne struggled to find work, especially since he has autism. So with the help of his family, Michael decided to take matters into his own hands.
Serving up coffee and sweets behind the counter at Red, White, and Brew is Michael Coyne.
I love working with my hands.
The young entrepreneur is autistic. He opened the coffee shop after he struggled finding a job.
After I turned 21, I applied for multiple places. None of them would hire me.
It's not easy for parents to watch your kid just kind of, you know, sit around the kitchen table while everyone else is enjoying life and co-workers and talking about their day, and they just want to add to the community like we all do.
Coyne didn't want to sit around waiting, so he took business classes through the state's Developmental Disabilities Council and then had the skills to open his own shop.
I actually enjoy it a lot. Like, I thought I would hate it, but I enjoy it.
The business has been open less than 2 weeks and has quickly become a haven for other families who have children with disabilities.
We've had parents come in, you know, tears in their eyes, like hope, you know, that their young people will eventually be accepted in the community.
Down the line, he wants to hire others with special needs to spread the message that people with disabilities are hard workers too.
I'm so proud of Michael for what he's done. A year ago, he didn't stand up tall like he does now. Looks you in the eye. Hi, I'm Michael.
That is a wonderful story, and talk about get up and go. When he couldn't find a job, he said, okay, let's go out and make a job.
Yeah.
That is a great thing, great for the family, great for him. And now that they're hiring other people with disabilities, what a great blessing to the entire community. I wish more people would do that.
I agree. I wish so too.
That's enough to give thanks about.
Yeah, it is.
Well, he went from building luxury homes to being homeless and then served a stint in prison. So how did Michael Moulton wind up with a radio show that reaches an audience of more than 500,000? Charlene Aaron brings us his remarkable story from riches to rock bottom to better than ever.
5 nights a week, here in this studio in Dallas, Michael Moulton reaches an audience of people from all walks of life, tackling tough topics like drug and alcohol addiction, an issue he knows all too well.
Gather round, gather round, gather round, clowns. Michael Moulton, Into the Rock, coming to you live from Dallas, Texas, D-Town, baby. I never imagined in my life, and what a great feeling it is to help people, to help save their life. You know, I get messages every day on how God is using me to touch people. We reach over 500,000 people a week.
We have got a lot to talk about today.
Via his podcast and Facebook shows called Into the Rock, Moulton shares about his dark past as an alcoholic and drug addict. and how he went from building homes to being homeless.
When I had the home building company and I was married at the time, my behaviors were getting worse and worse. My consequences were getting worse and worse. And I will never forget that in 2009, I got pulled over and I got arrested. I had a large amount of cocaine in my truck. I was intoxicated, and I was arrested. And I'll never forget when they took me down to the jail, I had my very first mugshot.
26 mugshots later, Moulton hit rock bottom.
When I look back, that's how the word powerless. I'm powerless over this deadly disease.
Agitated and facing 3 years behind bars, he experienced a spiritual encounter after an inmate asked him to read to him.
And I grabbed this book from a gangbanger, a Black Panther, and he used it as a pillow. Brand new book. And it was the Living Recovery Bible, New Living Translation. Now, these are black words on white paper at the time. They're not meaning anything to me. And the next thing I know, 4 days have passed by. And I started thinking about this and I go, 4 days just went by and I wasn't anxious. I wasn't in fear. I was calm and I was at peace.
Later that night, another life-changing moment.
I couldn't breathe. I was like, oh, like that. And all of a sudden, I felt all this trash and hatred and anger and resentment and everything just coming out of my body like flies. All this stuff was just coming out. And I just took this breath and I just go, and something magical happened and I was full of love. And I was looking around and I loved everybody.
That love motivated him to hold Bible studies behind bars.
And I started preaching and I didn't realize what I was doing. And I did it at the end of every dinner.
In 2017, a paperwork error led to Moulton's accidental release. So with no money or food, he walked 300 miles to ask Judge Jennifer Bennett to send him back to jail.
I walk in there to turn myself in and I'm excited. You know, I'm like, I'm gonna go back to prison. I'm gonna go do my time and get this over with and get this behind me. I'm in complete acceptance. God is running the show, right? And I walk in there and Judge Bennett says, Mr. Moulton, there's obviously someone a lot bigger working in your life than me. And I'm not gonna get in the way. And she set me free. And she says, I want you to come back tomorrow with a self-correct program. And she goes, I want you to go pay it forward.
And Moulton is doing just that by sharing his story of freedom and sobriety with those seeking help for addiction.
I was the biggest mess in the state of Texas. Today, the judges call me to ask me for my advice. There are judges in the state of Texas that have reached out to me that I have personally helped them with their family members to get them into treatment, to get help. There are judges that family members who have watched the show that have reached out that are now clean and sober today.
Judge Bennett has even appeared as a guest, and the impact of Moulton's work is reaching around the globe.
I've been on podcasts all over the world. But you know, we're getting them, you know, the majority of them are from America, but it's all over.
In the end, Moulton says his message is simple. If God changed him, he can change anybody.
I don't wake up in the middle of the night craving a drink. I don't. The mental obsession of drugs and alcohol has been removed. And my drug of choice today is God. I am grateful that through all the pain, my story, and everything that I've been through in my life is that I finally understand better on what forgiveness means.
Charlene Aaron, CBN News, Dallas.
Well, Michael's story just sort of underlines that it's the message of the gospel. These things are true. The Apostle Paul wrote it long ago. This statement is true. Jesus Christ came to save sinners, of whom I am chief. And that is the message for the world. You can never go too far away from God. He has the ability to redeem you. He has the ability to bring you back. And I love to tell people, you're never too dead for a resurrection. Amen. Let Michael's story be evidence for you. You can come back from wherever you are. God has a plan for you. He's got a purpose for you. He loves you. He wants to forgive you. He wants to restore you. He wants you with him for all eternity. All you have to do is say yes.
Preach it. Preach it. Amen. Well, up next, a faith-based film or a love letter to the Second Amendment. Former Hercules actor Kevin Sorbo takes us through his controversial new movie, The Reliant. Kevin Sorbo is a professional actor, but while filming a scene of Hercules with his leading lady, Kevin was so nervous he forgot his lines. The actress who took his breath away was named Sam, and now she's Miss Sorbo. And for 20 years, Kevin and Sam have been making movies together, and today they're shining a light throughout the film industry.
Kevin and Sam Sorbo have made a huge mark on the faith-based movie genre, writing, directing, and acting in numerous projects. Coming soon, Kevin stars in The Reliant, an action film about a family holding on to faith amidst national chaos. Next spring, Kevin and Sam star in Miracle in East Texas, a fun family movie about two 1930s con men who have their day of reckoning.
You're both under arrest.
All rise.
Kevin and Sam Sorbo are here with us now. Thank you guys so much for being here, and welcome back.
Thank you. It's good to be back.
We were just talking. I mean, you guys are here. You got so much stuff you guys are working on.
Yes, we've been very busy since the last time we saw you.
Yeah, well, let's talk about, I mean, you guys are highly involved in the faith-based film industry. I mean, do you guys write the scripts as well?
So I co-wrote Let There Be Light together with Dan Gordon, but he's a prolific writer and he's very gifted, and so he wrote our new picture, which is Miracle in East Texas.
Miracle in East Texas, yeah.
We just leave the world better than you found it.
Yeah,
and that's our motto, and so that's what we've decided to do with filmmaking. You know, culture is downstream from. Or sorry, politics is downstream from culture, and so
Who runs the culture?
We want to breathe into the culture some good values and some uplifting content and some inspirational material.
Yeah, well, because you guys are not ashamed of your faith, have you faced any backlash in Hollywood because of that?
That is.
Well,
that's a very common question.
I'm not getting a lot of calls anymore from Hollywood, but I am grateful for the independent film world. I do a lot of independent films in that 2 to 5 million range. That's catering on Pirates of the Caribbean. You know, that's a small budget, but we do such amazing. There's so many talented people on both sides of the camera now, and with the camera equipment and everything like that, our movies look big budget movies, and we do scripts that are just amazing and wonderful. And the toughest thing is just getting them in theaters, because you know Hollywood seems to have all the money to get all the movies in every screen that's out there. We're fighting to find space, and we're doing movies that have a positive message, not a negative one. We do movies that are uplifting, redemptive. Some are faith-based, some I just call family-friendly as well. And they're movies that people want to see and want the families to see. There's 80 million households out there that want these kind of movies, so we need your support to get these things out there.
Well, let's talk about The Reliant.
Sure.
What is the film about?
The Reliant is about the economic collapse of America. It deals with the aftermath of people just going crazy. Think of, what happened back in 1929. You know, we had the Great Depression. People are running to the banks. There's nowhere to get money. People just react and go absolutely crazy. And we're a family of faith that gets attacked by a bunch of bad guys, and they're shooting at my wife, my kids, and everything. We shoot back. It's a pro-Second Amendment movie, and it certainly is. It doesn't promote gun violence. It promotes a way to stop gun violence.
Yeah.
And but it deals with what this family has to go with as well, because there's differing points of view within this family of faith as well. So it's their own sort of tornado within this larger tornado, and how they work things out and find a way to get back together as a family.
Well, were you surprised that it was originally given an R rating when it first came out?
Considering what some R movies look like, I was kind of blown away by it. But it actually finally got down to a PG-13. Look, they gave Let There Be Light a PG-13 rating, and your 8-year-old kid can watch this movie no problem. So that's another thing you have to battle within some of the things that go on in the rating system.
We see it as a little bit antagonistic toward the content of the movie. You know, they gave Unplanned an R rating, and the the only sort of objectionable thing is the abortion. So they're actually admitting that abortion is, you know, that
is R-rated, but they're for it.
R-rating.
Wow.
Yeah, it's interesting.
So, wow. Well, the next movie that you guys will both be in is Miracle in Texas.
Miracle in
East Texas.
Yes.
So, you know, what can you tell us about the film? It's based on a true story?
Yeah, well, it's
inspired by a true story.
Inspired by a true story.
There's a lot of truth to it.
There's a lot of truth to it. It's a fun story. It's a romantic comedy, and and it's inspirational and uplifting. It's about two conmen who seduce widows to invest in their worthless oil scams, and then they accidentally strike the biggest oil strike in the history of the world.
That part's true. I mean, they would actually woo widows out of their money, declare a dry hole, but everywhere they went, they declared they would sell 500% of the shares. So they make a lot of money, and then they get out of Dodge. If they strike oil, now they're in trouble.
Wow. Well, like I said, you guys got so much stuff going on, and you got a book.
Yes.
What is it? It's the True Faith.
True Faith.
So what is that based on? Tell us about it.
Sequel to True Strength, which has been out there for a while. So people, if you want True Strength, go to kevinsorbo.net, get an autographed copy. But this is
True Faith is coming out this
spring. The autobiographical story of us, really, and marriage.
That's awesome. Yeah.
What did I say? Marriage, movie making, and miracles.
I love that. And you guys have been married for 22 years?
22 years.
So yeah, I mean, you guys are also working on a book about marriage and a devotional, right?
The devotional is out already. Goes along with Let There Be Light.
Okay.
That book is available right now.
Awesome.
But now you just gave me an idea.
I mean, there we go. 700 Club Interactive exclusive. Well, what advice would you give to, some younger couples out there? It's a victory that you guys have been married for this long and have been in the limelight. Honestly.
Well, I've said before, 10 years in Hollywood is like a golden anniversary, and we're on 22.
Yes, exactly.
What advice would you give?
It takes patience and forgiveness. Yeah. You really have to learn patience. And, I'm a homeschool advocate, and I have parents come to me all the time and say, I could never do it. I don't have the patience. And I look at them and I say, maybe God gave you children to teach you patience.
Amen.
Can I say this, though? There's another thing she says, which this isn't mine, this is hers. What is it saying about our public education system that you just gone K through 12th grade and you don't feel qualified to teach a first grader?
Wow.
What does that say about what our system is doing to us in education? Because we're ranked 27th in the world, something like that. I mean, it's pretty bad.
Yeah, for the United States of America, we need to step it up a little bit. So we need to rethink the way that we are looking at education. I'd like to see an entrepreneurial spirit enter the education realm, just in parents and in educators, and let's see if there's a better way to get it done, because it's an outdated, antiquated system that we're operating under.
Well, I love the fact that you guys are in all these different arenas, but going back to the faith, the filmmaking industry, what would you say to people who, feel a tug to go into that industry, but are a little afraid because of the fear of getting, having backlash because of their faith?
We're not called to a spirit of fear. We're given a spirit of overcoming in Christ. So, embrace it and do it. And
the quality of these movies coming out, as you mentioned earlier, are getting so good right now. So amazing. And I mentioned earlier, I've got 5 movies coming out, counting with this one, and 3 next year. So I'll be back next spring to talk about those. But I love where this world is going. And to me, it's like I want to do movies that don't just preach to the choir. I want to do movies that people of all faiths and non-faiths want to be interested in. Because I think there's a good message to be told in these movies. And I call them actors' movies because it's fun as an actor to be part of this, because these are characters you can relate to. These are people you can relate to and stories you can relate to.
Well, we're thankful for you guys. Thank you guys so much for all of the projects, the projects that you're working on. The Reliant releases on DVD and digital 1 week from today, but you can pre-order it now and be on the lookout for Miracle in East Texas, which is coming to theaters next year. Kevin and Sam, thank you guys so much.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks, Gordon.
Coming up, we'll follow a family of 9 who had to leave their native Iraq because they were nearly killed by ISIS. How Operation Blessing helped right after this. Well, just imagine growing sicker and sicker every day from drinking toxic water. You have no other choice but to die. Well, that was the fate of a woman named Ida from Zimbabwe, and it was slowly killing her.
Ida lives in the hills of Zimbabwe. When Cyclone Idai struck, her mud home was level. She quickly built a new house, but one thing she couldn't build was a new water source. She used to get water piped from a spring. Now she collects water directly from the stream.
I drink just as much water as I did before. But now, every day, I get sicker and sicker.
The water simply flows downhill, getting more and more contaminated at each collection point.
For 2 weeks, I was too sick and weak to do anything. I barely had the strength to get up, and I was afraid I would die.
When Operation Blessing arrived at the stream, we found stagnant water teeming with bacteria and parasites that cause serious diseases. We distributed water filters and chlorine tablets to everyone in the area. This will help purify the water and prevent disease from spreading any further. These will last for up to a year, giving enough time for the water pipes from the spring to be repaired.
When I saw you coming to help us, it felt like hope was restored. The light that dimmed within me lit up again. The water is clean and tastes much better now. Thank you for helping us. May God give you peace, and may you continue to help more people like us.
Well, just imagine that thank you going to you. Well, that's what happens when you're a member of the 700 Club. That's what happens when you're a donor to Operation Blessing. And when you join the 700 Club, you are a donor to Operation Blessing because a portion of every gift goes into their work. And Operation Blessing is helping families all over the world. In Jordan, Sandra's family of 9 faced financial struggles. They fled from Iraq because they are Christians, and in their new home, they could barely afford food until Operation Blessing came to help.
Sandra and her brothers and sisters have struggled to survive as Christian refugees ever since their family was brutally attacked by ISIS.
Masked men with guns broke in the door of our home in Mosul. They beat me over the head, then they handcuffed me and threw me into a hole in the ground. They locked me in to die.
They told me they were going to kill my husband as they dragged him away. I thought I lost everything, so I just sat on the floor and cried.
Wissam was held captive in the hole for 3 days with no food or water. Then, American and Iraqi forces rescued him, and he was reunited with his family. They made their way to Amman, Jordan.
I have nothing. The government won't let us have regular jobs, and I spent everything I had to get us away from ISIS.
We can only feed our children 1 meal a day, and they can't go to school because we don't have money to register them. It's unbearable seeing them go without. But I have faith in Jesus. That's something ISIS could not take away from me.
After Operation Blessing learned about their problems, we took Wissam grocery shopping for meat, rice, and fresh fruits and vegetables. We also got the family powdered milk, diapers, and other things for the baby.
My refrigerator was completely empty, and we didn't know how we would get food. Now my children have good things to eat.
We also found out the whole family was freezing in their bare floor apartment during the winter. So we bought them carpet and a gas heater they can also use for cooking. And we got the kids new winter clothes.
Before we were super cold, and now it's much better.
Sandra and her brothers and sisters were enrolled free of charge at our Operation Blessing-funded Christian school.
I love the school so much. My favorite part is learning about Jesus and how to be a good Christian.
My husband and I are so proud of them. We are all very grateful for this opportunity.
Wissam helps out around the school, and in return, we help him with his expenses. With the support of Operation Blessing, Sandra's family is doing much better than before, and their hope has been restored.
My children now have a chance for a good future, and you have helped me forget the problems of the past. I pray you will be blessed by God.
Jesus sent you to us, and I'm very thankful. I'm so happy to have you in our lives.
Thank you for all the help you've given my family. It makes my heart feel glad knowing that you think about us.
From water wells in Zimbabwe to refugees coming out of war in Iraq, to people right here at home. Many people don't know that we're feeding millions of Americans every single month through Operation Blessing and our food distribution program to various food banks and churches across America. All made possible because people like you care enough to give, and they say, yes, I want to join the 700 Club. Now, how much is that? Well, it's just $20 a month. And when you think of that amount of money, it's very small. But when you start thinking tens of thousands of people joining together and saying, yes, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it faithfully every single month, And then when you say, well, we're going to take a portion of every one of those gifts and we're going to dedicate it into Operation Blessing to help people, well, now you can really start doing things, and you can do things on a consistent, regular basis around the world. If that's you, join with us and call 1-800-700-7000. Say, I want to join the 700 Club. Now, when you call and join, I want you to have this, the transforming word, Proverbs, verses of wisdom, favor, and anointing. It's yours when you call right now. 1-800-700-7000. Here's a verse from 3 John. Beloved, I pray that all may go well with you and that you may be in good health as it goes well with your soul.